plan to extend light rail on Norfolk's West Side is stalled tonight.
But the idea of running the tracks all the way to the naval base could still come true. Chinuher talked with HRT officials about what needs to take place in order for this to happen.
With HRT now ruling out building on the west side of Norfolk, like right here on Monticello, they're now looking forward to the next part of this project, which is aimed at looking at the east side, which is the military highway corridor.
I'm really looking forward to the east side and what could be possible there.
Like other people at the HRT office Monday night, Darcy Sink wanted to know what the future of public transportation looks like for Norfolk on the west side.
I just love to see more diverse options for people to take, whether it's biking or walking or taking the bus or other transit options.
HRT officials told the public on Monday that after a year-long study of the city's west side, they're not building a light rail route. There were two proposals studied, one that ran down Hampton Boulevard, the other down Granby Street. It would go all the way down to Naval Station Norfolk.
Based on cost considerations, low ridership or lack of ridership, and challenges such as flooding and resiliency and construction, we've decided that a no-build recommendation is best for the west side of the city.
Director of Transit Development Jamie Jackson says they'll now shift their focus to the east side, where they looked at before.
Actually, we did a study in 2015 that actually addressed some of these issues on the east side. So for the next phase of study, we're doing the environmental review process.
As I looked at what they found, I don't think it would have been a good option. So I was pretty convinced with what they said.
Hopefully, come September, when the east side study starts, there will be good signs of what's to come for Norfolk's prime areas.
And I'd love to see those areas connected, but not if it doesn't make sense.
In Norfolk, Chinuher, 13 News Now.
If you missed tonight's meeting, you can plan for the next one. HRT is hosting another public meeting on Thursday at 6 o'clock. It will be held at the Lamberts Point Community Center near ODU.
Tonight, still no arrests in a shooting at the Virginia Beach Oceanfront over the weekend. 2 people were hit Saturday night near the Dairy Queen on Atlantic Avenue. One woman tells us she called 911 after hearing the gunshots, then seeing a woman had been hit in a parking garage. She says the area was crowded at the time and people panicked. Police have not released any details about a possible motive or a suspect. College Beach weekend is the last weekend of this month, and Virginia Beach city officials are trying to reassure everyone that they have everything under control. Over the years, the event has turned into a difficult balance between boosting the economy and keeping the peace. Last year, 4 people were shot. Residents worry about violence and crowd control. Tens of thousands of people are expected. The city says it has a plan to keep everyone safe. A public forum is set for this Wednesday night at the Convention Center from 6 until 8.
Now that we are finally into spring, that means some very important projects can resume in Virginia Beach, specifically Town Center. Everything from a hotel to a theater and apartments, retail space, and more. Robert Boyd has the story.
Well, one of the newest hotels to hit Town Center will be built right here on this plot of land behind me, a Residence Inn by Marriott. Now, construction of the hotel was delayed a few months because of our harsh winter weather, but businesses around here say there is no delaying the fact that tourism in Town Center is going up.
Here for the playoffs? Yeah.
Buffalo Wild Wings is one of Town Center's newest restaurants, opening this past November. They say knowing a new 120-room hotel is being built in walking distance on Bonnie Road is a reassuring feeling.
And hopefully we'll get a lot more busier because of it.
Leo Diomenia says Town Center is striving to win over Hampton Road's top tourist dollars.
I believe they're competing with the Oceanfront and in Norfolk Waterside.
In the heart of Town Center, more developments are underway. A theater, apartments, and retail space. And right next door is Twist.
This is going to be our Times Square, to use New York as a reference. This is going to be where everything starts from and continues to grow out.
Grayson Terry believes people just don't want to visit Town Center, they want to stay at Town Center. So building hotels is essential.
This is where we're going to bring in the finer element. This is where people are going to want to come celebrate their anniversaries, those big events, the celebrations, the graduations, because we're going to have offerings here that you won't find at the oceanfront.
James Harrington and his wife just happened to be visiting Virginia Beach from North Carolina for their 40th wedding anniversary. They say it's nice to have an alternative to the oceanfront.
Well, we've spent a lot of time at the oceanfront in years past. We love the beach and stayed there, but it's just not quite, as hectic and just more relaxing.
As for this particular Residence Inn by Marriott, the grand opening was supposed to be this October, but that now has been pushed back to early 2019. In Virginia Beach, Robert Boyd, 13 News Now.
Some people who live in Virginia Beach say building homes on wetlands is a bad idea. A developer wants to build 32 houses near Holland Road and Nimmo Parkway on 50 acres of land known as the Holland Swamp. Neighbors say not only will this increase traffic, there's a bigger problem, and that's whether building on wetlands will worsen flooding areas.
Only 15 acres are being developed, and it does not impact existing wetlands.
We're concerned that if the land is developed into residences, that it is going to make the flooding along Princess Anne Road even worse than it currently is.
City Council plans to vote tomorrow night on whether to rezone the area from agricultural to residential.
Tonight we're hearing of more airstrikes in Syria. The country's state-run television saying missiles were targeted at an air base, but there is no word as to who carried out the airstrikes. Of course, this comes just a few days after the U.S., Britain and France conducted airstrikes targeting alleged chemical weapons facilities. After a suspected chemical weapons attack, the Syrian government carried out on its own people. Tonight, the head of a chemical watchdog group says Syrian and Russian authorities prevented independent investigators from going to the scene of that suspected chemical attack. The Russian military had said it would help chemical weapons inspectors look into the incident. First responders say the attack earlier this month killed more than 40 people. The Syrian government denies ever using chemical weapons.
The situation in Syria is ongoing and very complicated. Tonight, Heather Crawford has a look at the Syrian president's rise to power and how Russia became involved in the civil war.
Bashar al-Assad came to power thanks in part to a tragic accident. Assad's father was president, and he was grooming his eldest son, Bashar's brother, as the future leader. The brother was killed in a car accident in 1994. Bashar was the only person on the ballot when he was elected president in 2000. From the beginning, he stood against the United States. A civil war broke out in 2011 with reform groups pushing for greater civil rights. After 5 years of conflict, Assad was in jeopardy of losing power. That's when a lifeline arrived from Russia. Vladimir Putin sent support and conducted airstrikes to back the Assad regime. That relationship continues today. Here's the evidence. Russia has veto power in the United Nations. Tuesday, Moscow stopped a U.S.-sponsored resolution to investigate the most recent chemical attack. It's reported to be at least the 12th time Russia has used its veto power in regard to Syria.
Now, the White House is considering new economic sanctions against Russia for helping Syria's president. Over the weekend, UN Ambassador Nikki Haley indicated that sanctions would be announced today. However, the Trump administration will only say that penalties are being considered. Haley says Russia has blocked 6 attempts by the UN Security Council to investigate Syria's use of chemical weapons.
About 900 National Guard troops are on the southern border right now. That's less than 4 times what President Trump wants as part of an effort to fight illegal immigration and drug trafficking. The president said earlier this month he wants up to 4,000 troops on the U.S.-Mexico border. Governors of nearby states have committed about 2,400 National Guardsmen. We're told the federal government will pay to deploy the troops, but the cost was unknown. Senator John McCain has undergone intestinal surgery because of an infection. His staff members say the senator is stable after undergoing surgery at a hospital in Phoenix. McCain has been undergoing physical therapy since December related to his brain cancer treatment. He previously said he planned to return to work in Washington in January, but he has remained at home.